We are back. Moneyball Bets is back after a couple of weeks sabbatical. I'm Eric, your host, and with me as always is David, aka Better DP21. David, how you doing today, my man?
Doing great, man. Up in the mountains, it's a great day. It's going to be a fantasy football draft day with the guys up here in the mountains, and really looking forward to cashing in on some tickets ahead of them.
So I guess my question to you is drafting in person. Do you guys if there's someone in your crew which you respect, who thinks is a great fantasy player? Do you try to get him drunk as the draft goes on? To take advantage?
We don't respect anybody here. No respect. There's none of that. No, there's, obviously we all look at each other as, we can always tell who's cream of the crop, who's going to rise to the top kind of situationally.
Okay.
You always get your main six that are going to stand out. And I definitely think I'm one of those as well. But from that end, it's, yeah, we don't actually trying to mess with each other too much. We're actually all trying to decide on last year's losers new team name, because we renamed their team for them with something pretty unfavorable.
Always good stuff. Obviously college football is starting, but there's MLB going on, and David and I are here to share our best bets for the day. I have two. David has three. David is the guest. I'll let him kick off. David, first play of the game. Where are you going at, my man?
All right, first one I'm looking at today is Dodgers at Boston. So taking a look at this matchup, you got Urias against Paxton on the mound today. It's actually kind of an interesting tale of two coins here, right? You got one pitcher, Urias, who's in pretty good form right now over his last three starts, throwing a 1.8 ERA with a whip of 0.7. But on the road, his splits are completely different. He averages an ERA closer to 7 with a whip closer to 1.5. And then parallel, like I just mentioned, Paxton kind of just the same for himself. He is actually in not terrible form, but he's had his last three starts go 4.7 with a whip 1.5. But at home, that thing drops way below 3 to a 2.5 and a whip right at 1. So, I'm looking at Boston. I'm taking them on the money line today for the game. They have a great bullpen. I think Paxton pulls it together at home to just flush right into that bullpen. I also got them as Boston being my number one hot hitting team. I know they lost last night late to the Dodgers, but make no mistake about it, this team is hitting. Dodgers are right up there as well in my top 5 for teams that where they're at offensively. But I'm going to go ahead and take the the bets here with Boston for the game. So it's just it all kind of matches up for me. Great hitting, great pitching at home, great bullpen. Let's get it for the game at plus 111, I think it was.
I like it. My first one, I'm going down to Detroit. I'm taking the Tigers and Astros over 8.5. Hunter Brown giving up 13 runs this past month. Not many starts. ERA over 7.02. Post All-Star break, you look at his ERA, it's up 1.53 runs per game, up to 5.56. And okay, I'm a Detroit fan. I'm here in Michigan right now, and this week there's a little more feel, a little bit more peppiness going around because Parker Meadows is here. Mm-hmm. He's supposed to be the savior. He had a walk-off home run last night. Since he's come up, the game has gone over every game but one. Bats are a little bit more lively, a little bit more youthful exuberance, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Tigers here and the Astros to go over that 8.5. Tigers bats have been coming alive.
Oh, 100%. That's actually one of the games I'll be talking about later as well. So I definitely like where you're at with that.
Next one, my friend. What is your next bet?
Next bet, we're actually taking a look at Washington at Miami. I'm taking a look at Washington first 5 money line plus 180. You got Jake Irvin going for the Nationals right now, and the Nationals have one of the best bats right now. Going into the league, they are 8-2 in their last 10. They are riding pretty high on their bats. better than the average. I got them ranked right now as my number 12 hot hitting team. So, and conversely, um, Miami's like down in my bottom tier. I got them ranked number 26 for hitting. So again, this is just a situational matchup for myself where, we got a really strong pitcher on the mound for Washington today with some really hot hitting bats. And then on the opposite end, I know Yuri Perez is going for Miami. And, I think this is just public perception. But I think what people are missing with Yuri is that, he might be better pitching at home, just kind of like I described for Paxton for himself. But again, I like, his ERA and his form right now are just way off. I mean, he's up, toward like a ERA of 6 with a whip of about 1.5 for himself as well over his last 3. So, from that perspective for myself, I really like the matchup, the odds that you're getting with Washington with such better bats in the lineup, and a strong pitcher on the mound for them at plus 180. Give me the first 5 all day and call it a wrap on that game.
I like it. And I got to give you credit. You've kind of turned me on to betting the first 5. I sent you my spreadsheets, and it's remarkable. First 5, you don't have to deal with the BS and the bullpens. First 5, definitely a bet I'm starting to use more thanks to you, and I appreciate that. My next bet, last bet of the day, I'm staying in Detroit. I'm going Kerry Carpenter over 1.5 bases. He's gone over this in 4 of the last 5 games he started. Last game, he just had a pinch hit, only 1 at bat, so we can't really count that one. He is 5th in the team, and he's only been up for 100 games. 5th in the team in hits off right-handers. He's batting .299 versus righties for the year. Brown does struggle against left-handed hitters. Hot bat again, and it's kind of, as a Tigers fan, this is the first time in a long time I feel hope, just because Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Parker Meadows, the young pitchers in Manning, Casey Mize, if he ever gets healthy, the left-hander Subble. They have this young youth, which is finally starting to come out, which is good to see. I'm really high on Carpenter. I think he goes over this 1.5 bases at plus 135.
I really like it too. And that's actually where I'm kind of going with one of my next bets. Great transition point right there. So I'm looking at that game as well, right? And I'm looking at Houston at Detroit. I'm taking Detroit on the money line, plus 120 for the game. You made the point earlier, Hunter Brown, over his last 3 starts, he has a ERA of 9.28, a whip of 1.88. If that doesn't help your stats there for Carpenter going over 1.5 bases, I don't know what does. You can go ahead and take a look at anything else you like, but from my statistical edge here, Eduardo Rodriguez on the mound for Detroit today, he's going to actually have, he's in great form. He's averaging right now a 3.33 ERA, a whip of like 1.2. At home, those numbers dip down a little bit below 3. So, I mean, you can average, pretty much right where he's at right there is pretty consistent across the board. ERA right about under 3 plus a whip of 1.06. So, I really like where they're at ranking wise for the bats here. I got actually Houston ranked number 26, and I got the Tigers also ranked at like number 11 right now in my offensive rankings coming into today's matchup. So really like, where this is at for their team for not only just the over, but for the matchup for the game. So we're going plus 120 on the money line.
I'm telling you, man, it is so weird being a Tigers fan and having hope right now. I don't know how this feels because I'm not used to it. Lions are doing well too. Pistons could actually battle for a play-in spot. So it's a little different spot for me in the last couple of years. So, David, good seeing you. Good catching up with some plays. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, anybody looking to talk shop ever, as Eric mentioned, you can look for me on Twitter or Instagram at betterdp21, better with an OR. And, just even here as we're, ramping down on baseball over the next month, I know we're going to probably be talking some college football and other football plays coming soon. So looking forward to getting into that with y'all as well. And appreciate you having me as always, man. Great catching up. Like you said, after taking a couple of weeks off and, It's good to be back here on the show with you. Thank you.
Good seeing you. Good being back. College football fans, good parlay. Parlay Carpenter over 1.5 at plus 135, and the Ohio running back to rush for 100 yards. Nice little 10-1 ROI there as a parlay. David, we'll talk soon, my friend. Best of luck, and let's make some money, people.
Thank you.